Hey guys, welcome back to Umineko. Let's see, so she's not a witch but a mistress named Beatrice who lived on this island. So there can't be more than 18 people, which means like a defeat deadline of the reasoning that says any crime possible for all 18 people must involve magic. It's a big scoop. Pardon me, Battler Simon, would you like some black tea and cookies? Beatrice's butler, who called himself Ronav, appeared out of nowhere. A plate set on a silver tray that he held filled with his delicious looking steaming black tea and cookies. I really don't like this guy's smile. For some reason, it doesn't look like a smile used to warm my greeted guests. It feels like he's mocking me somehow. I don't know if he really takes me for an idiot or if it's just a joke or something. But it's really irritating me. I don't need any. I'm busy now. Leave me alone. Oh my, such a shame. The cookies are so delicious too. Cooked so wonderfully. They would be wasted on a mere human. I'll eat some when I feel like it. Just set it down somewhere. Get out of here. Will that be acceptable? Then I shall do so. You may eat them when they get cold and stale, and then regret to the fullest they did not eat them while they were fresh. You really are annoying. Well, you're a lot better than that Beato, who keeps doing that creepy cackle right next to my ear. Yes, that's quite true. There are times when Millie's laughter becomes quite undignified. Every time I hear it, I find it painful to comprehend why such a noble demon as myself must serve such a master. Cuckoo. Man, you are weird. If you don't like it, then could you not just work for her? And yet to continue serving is furniture's joy. If we do not serve, it could hardly be furniture. Setting that aside, how has that game I've been proceeding? Just now you seem to have found some useful information that quite pleased you. Well now, I wonder what your shallow wit has conjured up. As Ronald mocked me and giggled, he followed my earlier words literally and placed the black tea and cookies in a random spot nearby. In any case, it appears you are now more confident in the existence of a 19th person. Yes, would you be gracious enough to allow me to hear your opinion? Yeah, sure. I'm just going to say it again in front of Beto anyway. No reason to hide it. Basically, it looks like there's a hidden mansion somewhere on this island that grandfather had his mistress living there. So the question that's been torturing me about whether there are 18 or 19 people could be easily resolved. You have driven yourself to a corner because of the dead end that you yourself have created, even though you deny the witch Balasama yield a double standard and refuse to accept that the culprit is one of the 18. The easiest way to deny the witch would to be suspect one of the 18, and it isn't easy to gather alibis for every one of them. You always find at least one person with a fragile alibi. I could probably continue to deny the witch forever if I just used that person as a scapegoat. However, I refuse to do that. It's useless. It's all useless. Every one of those 18 people is either a parent or relative or cousin to me. And those reliable servants who are sometimes serious and sometimes fun to be with, I won't let myself use any of them as a scapegoat. In the past, my resolve wavered. That's how Beto hit me when my heart was weak. Accepting and understanding one's own weakness. It's not something that can be often accomplished. The battler Simon used this theory about our 19th person as a spear, or should I say, as a shield. In any event, in contrast to how unprepared you were in the previous games, the fact that you now have a compass bearing on how to fight is a dramatic leap forward, let us say. With this, you can suspect that 19th person you persuade your theory that if the culprit is a human without having doubt in you an 18 you love and respect. That's exactly like in the first game when Kennencon was killed in the boiler room. And there were plenty of tricks I could have managed without hesitation as long as the 19th person existed. The very first game Kennencon was killed in the boiler room. One might think he was attacked by Kumasawa-san who had gone down the boiler room with him. Or maybe that's someone who had appeared to be dead earlier was actually faking and ambushed him. Either way, it's a move that forced me to suspect one of the 18. However, I simply proposed that 19th person existed. There was no longer any need to suspect one of the 18 for that murder in the boiler room. In short, I could at least deny the line of reasoning saying that if something is impossible for every one of the 18, therefore the culprit is a witch. Using this argument, it's easy to explain, for example, the problematic case that already occurred in this game. Who gave Mariah the letter? Even if all 18 people have alibis, I could easily explain anything by saying that 19th person must have visited her and given her the letter. I said it's quite a good move. Now, how would I strike back against it? You still have plenty of weak points, even if you are aware of them. Maybe the 18th person attack would be an effective move. To judge the strength of your defense, it may be amusing to contest that point again. And how will you do it, Demon Butler? I believe it would be appropriate to ambush the piece representing the 19th person that you mentioned. Bella, some of you have never met this 19th person. Yes, would you please show some proof that this 19th person exists? How naive. Of course I knew you'd probably try that move. Mama, please respond to it. Which is the demons and the like. There's no more fitting move for you guys to use. It's one of those. devil's proofs. When you try to make some claim to humans like us, we always counterattack by telling you to show some proof. Because it's a human's move, but I'm fighting with a witch. I'm taking part in a battle with someone who isn't human. And some moves exist that can only be used in a game against a witch. Ugh. There are cheap moves, and that's what the devil's proof is. It's because it's impossible to prove. Let's assume that there's a hidden mansion on the Rokenjima separate from the Ushiramiya family mansion, and that woman named Beatrice lives there. In order to prove this, one must find this mansion and actually bring Beatrice out of it. That's called actual proof in the human world. However, if we follow the rules of the devil's proof, we can't deny that she exists, even if there is no proof that she does, because it's impossible to prove that something doesn't exist. That's why I'm able to turn the tables using this devil's proof, which tormented me so much before. Those guys were always trying to force me to accept the existence of the witch with it. After all, it was physically impossible for me to show any proof that witches don't exist and deny Pito's claims. That's why I kept getting hit with the reckless argument that witches do exist, and was able to counterattack. And that's why I'll spin the chessboard right around now. If I can't disprove the existence of witches, then that means if I suggest that an 19th human exists, you can't deny that either. In other words, just because this problematic and mysterious mistress is craftily hiding herself, it'd be perfectly natural if you found her, no matter how hard you looked. So you can't say that your inability to find a second person proves that she doesn't exist. Therefore, it's impossible to deny the 19th person's existence. Bieto used the devil's proof to make denying her own existence impossible, but this time it's become my weapon. If we can get away with this argument, then just forget a 19th person. This island could be full of people we don't know about. And if there were 10 or 100 of them, she still couldn't deny that you existed. In the last game, and the one before that, among the murder scenes that showed up, there were several that were extremely intricate and must have taken a lot of effort to set up. So I would imagine a single culprit setting up all of those. However, if not just a 19th person, but 10 or 100 people were hidden somewhere, that wouldn't be any problem at all. If they all split up their work, they could handle any job in a short period of time. Of course, that's what naturally arises to why there are a large group of people like that could sneak around the mansion without being noticed. But those are all set up by the devil's proof. You can't deny that 100 people were just there because they weren't seen or noticed. Even though I'm saying it myself, it's such a stupid argument that makes me want to throw up. However, because it was such a dirty move, it's a perfect one to use against a witch. Well, it's just my imagination, but what if about 100 suspicious men were wearing goat masks, while hiding in the shadows? Something like those were worse than laughable, almost like they're cockroaches. If you see one, it means there's 100 more hiding somewhere. Well, I do think it's a ridiculous argument. That's horribly twisted. If my opponent were human, I'm sure they yelled at me like I was out of my mind. But my opponent is a witch, and after all, she's the kind of competition we're having, isn't it? I'll use any kind of ridiculous argument to explain that using humans to deny the witch. Anyway, with this move, I won't have any to doubt any of those 18 who are close to me again. I won't suffer a defeat like last time. I see. You have learned from your previous defeat, and that is good. It's no surprise that you've become so devious now that you're in the third game. Your first straighten your own defense. That is truly a solid first step. Quite a spectacular move, I would say. Well, even if we do assume that there's a 90th person, there are still a few tricks left that I can't resolve, like the actual number of master keys, no matter how many humans I add. So it isn't bad as the first step for the time being. By the time your trump card is the most important piece called the 19th person. You counter my move of asking what the proof was by using devil's proof. A good skirmish, although I must apologize for making that move by myself when my lady isn't here. I found that too. I am growing slightly interested. I wonder if you would allow me to make yet another move on my lady's behalf. Let's have it. I got no shortage of opponents, but the witches or demons. It says here, this may be presented called the devil's proof, his specialty of its demons. But there are also various other moves available to us. Do you know a move called Himple's Raven? Himple's Raven? What are you talking about? Cackle, cackle. Just saying, then a raging laugh I've heard so many times start echoing. The room was filled with dazzling golden butterflies. In the center of the whirlwind, the golden witch appeared. If it isn't milady, good morning. I thought you might be doing something interesting while I was away. Himple's Raven, was it? Such a familiar old move I could almost laugh. To think a day has come when I get to show it off to Battler. It's a classic move to use against the devil's proof. I don't know if I will make this move. Do not get in the way of my fun. So you finally showed up, you guffawing witch. I see you're laughing like a freak, just as usual. This guy was talking behind your back just now, telling me how undignified you look when you do that. Right? How rude, is that true? Nonsense, why would I speak such gossip about my lady, whom I regard with such sincere respect? I can't believe you say it's so shameless. Doesn't look like we'll be getting along well together. Cackle, cackle. Well, there's fine. Let us return to the point at hand. Impulse Raven is used to show actual proof using the contra positive. In other words, it's a move like this. What must you do to prove that ravens are black? Huh? What are you talking about? Prove that ravens are black? You hit the catch a raven and check to see if it's black? That's right. You must simply prove that raven equals black. You see that if you instead prove that birds that aren't black equals not ravens, you would reach the same argument. If you go throughout the world and examine all birds that are not ravens and prove that none of them are black, and as a result you can claim that therefore black birds aren't ravens. This is called an argument by the contrapositive. It is too difficult for you? Yeah, no kidding. I've got no idea what you're saying. Battler, somehow, what about this example? Let us say that you have two boxes, and one of them is a winner with a cookie inside. Of course, the other one's a loser, and it's empty. Looks up here, two boxes, where one has a cookie inside, and it means you win, while the other is empty, and it means you lose. In this moment, as a cookie inside equals you win, which implies that you do not win equals it had no cookie inside. When such a relationship exists, the latter is called the contrapositive. Then if A and wait, what? When if A, then B is true, then if not B, then A, not A, blah, 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 blah. That's confusing. Okay, it's also true. Well, then that's obvious. If the one you guess was the loser, then you automatically know that the other one is the winner. In other words, if you chose a box at random, whether it's the winner or the loser, you'll be able to figure out which box has the cookie in it in the first move. That is correct. If the cookie is in the box you open and the devil's proof is satisfied, you can directly prove that this box equals the winner and has a cookie in it. However, if your box is empty, then the reverse simple is raven is satisfied. In other words, a box does not have a cookie in it equals this box is not the winner. And as long as we accept the premise that there are no more than two boxes, the contrapositive shows that the other box is automatically the winner. Well, I think I'm starting to see your reasoning. Only poison can stop poison. Only twisted logic can stop twisted logic. And then what? How does that overturn my claim? That because there's definitely an human person on this island. And if all 18 people have alibis, I still won't have to accept witches. Very well, I will teach you about my move. First of all, you're starting the culprit is on the 18 equals the culprit, an active person, cackle cackle. So if you use the contrapositive, it ends up like this. And in short, the culprit is not an active person equals the culprit is 1 of the 18. What do you mean? I've only encountered your move. Let's try to keep things simple. Runov explained. It seems you made things easy enough for Battler to understand with your cookie and box analogy. And if you get my presumption, allow me to explain my earlier example once more. Let me repeat my earlier story about two treasure boxes, one of which has a cookie in it. In this situation, you have an 18-person box and a 19-person box. So the cookie represents the culprit. Battler style. Let's say you open the 18-person box. Because that cookie is not there, you end up paradoxically proving that therefore the cookie is a 19th person box. That's an even more paradoxical claim. In other words, if the first shown that the 19th person box was empty, it would prove at the same time that the cookie is in the 18th person box. Battler someone played this move in order to avoid having to doubt into the 18. It's now been used to prepare an 18% attack. What the hell? Cackle cackle, if I go first and prove that the inside of the 19th person box is empty, you automatically have to accept that the cookie is in the 18th person box. All I have to say is that the other way around, yes? So that move I would have so confident in was actually a double-edged sword. That's right. As soon as you played the move and attempted to explain everything with the 19th person, you'd already taken a risk that you might be forced to accept that the culprit was on the 18. I see. Himple's Raven. So this is countering technique. Wait, if I really think about it, this counter is really disadvantageous for me. This isn't the cookie we're talking about. If I imagine that the loser treasure chest actually has a bomb in it, it gets even clearer. And there aren't just two treasure chests, but 18 plus 1 more for the 19th person. If you think of it as a total of 19 boxes, it gets even easier to picture. First off, one of the premises of the human culprit theory is that the bomb will definitely be in one of these boxes. I didn't want to place the bomb in the boxes for any of the 18, so I used the devil's proof and created a 19th person box so I could throw the bomb in there. That was much was fine. The damn Beatos struck back. Now, if the contents of the 19th person box are empty, that automatically means that the bombs are one of the other 18 boxes. If I can examine what's in all 18 of those boxes, and as long as I can show that the bomb is in any of them, I'll be able to safely show that there are 18 people are innocent. If that were possible, I'd have nothing to fear. However, in reality, that would be almost absolutely impossible. Oh, the police wouldn't come here the police wouldn't come here in this typhoon. We don't have any access to scientific investigations or experts or anything. In short, we can't prove anything decisively. It'd be impossible for me to prove blah blah blah. It'd be impossible for me to find any proof other than the simple gulping down whatever alibis each of the 18 give. It means I personally have to prove their innocence, and I have to do it perfectly, like by staying with them the whole time, never letting them out of my sight for a second. By doing that, I could probably be sure of that person's innocence. So that the bomb is in their box. However, in practical terms, that'll be impossible. In other words, I have to expend an incredible effort just to check the contents of one box. And there are 18 of them. In other words, unless I bound all 18 of them in chains and watched over them, it'll be impossible to prove that all of them have empty boxes. However, Beto has only to open one box, the 19th person box, and show that it's empty to prove that the bomb's in one of the other 18 boxes. Furthermore, there's no need for her to show which of the 18 boxes has the bomb. I've got 18 times more work to do than explain my pet theory than Beatrice does for hers. When a devil's proof exists in the world, it takes a vast amount of effort to argue against it, and there are many cases in which it is possible to do because of the situation. However, Himple's Raven turns that problem around and makes it possible to prove things easily. By using Himple's Raven, various reckless arguments become possible to prove true or false. For example, let's say I make the proposition all humans except me equal foolish. Normally I would have to examine all the humanity except myself and show that they are foolish. However, in reality, it would be impossible to investigate billions of people. It's just the same sort of effort you'll need to open all 18 boxes. Cackle, cackle. However, by using Himple's Raven, the contrapositive of the proposition would change into this. If you, to use your phrase, spin the chessboard around on the claim that all humans except me equal foolish, you would have to do nothing more than prove that not foolish equals me. And what do you think that means? Cackle, cackle. As soon as I know the fact that I'm wise, I will be able to show in an instant that every one of the billions of the people in the human race is foolish. In less than a second, I could finish proving that the entire human race is more foolish than me. It's truly the strongest, the fastest QED in the world. This Hippos Raven. What a ridiculous argument. It's a very, very convenient move. Not only demons, but gods also use it. When they propose that the blessed equals the servant of a god, then the contrapositive as a human is not a servant of God equals he must not be blessed. So in order to prove that the servants of God are blessed with divine protection, they only have to bring ill fortune down upon those who don't receive such protection. So by bringing misfortune down upon those who don't believe in them, they prove their blessedness. An enormous cost is required to give humans happiness. However, it takes a lot less to bring humans misfortune. Cackle, cackle. So by using Himple's Raven, gods are actually giving believers the joy of divine protection for cheap. You demon. It's a demon's argument. That's crazy. It seems we've gotten off topic. Let's get back to the point. The move for my counterattack is complete, and now in response to your claim that the 19th person is the culprit, therefore the 18th person, the 18 are innocent, and which doesn't exist. I say therefore, if I can prove that the culprit is not some 19th person, we can be sure that the culprit is either one of the 18 or which, right? For a while I just stood there, shocked, completely forgetting to close my mouth, just when I thought I countered one of their strong points. The counterattack I made in this reckless argument that I couldn't possibly have anticipated. It is going to be impossible, after all, to continue denying the witch on an island with no more than 18 people and still believe in the innocence of those 18 people. Is that just a delusion? Am I just trying to escape reality? Not yet. Don't give up in this desperate struggle yet. But who cares about whoever's raving? They're just trying to confuse me by bringing up weird bits of trivia. I use the devil's proof. Don't feel uncertain about something you used once. Believe in the spirit you've drawn, and then forcefully gouge in it. We're still in the opening part of the game. Do you plan to keep thinking on this level? Wait a sec. I want to be sure. Oh man, I talked about 19th person to keep it simple, but if we're going to use the devil's proof to raise the number of people above 18, then we have no way of knowing if there were 10 people, 100 people, or an indeterminate number of people. There's always one more than you assume. Get it? They counter my twisted logic with something even more twisted. So the only thing that could counter that would be even crazier twisted logic. I see. Even if I somehow prove an alibi for the 19th person, as soon as I do what you will think of a 20th person, and they claim that they are the culprit, by repeating this endlessly, you would make it so I kept searching for the alibis for all eternity. I see. Cackle, cackle, just like a demon king summoning a plague of locusts. I wouldn't expect it unless Kindle's grandchild. It looks like you have been gifted with the talent of summoning. In short, it's impossible to prove. I'll always prove an alibi for each person outside of the first 18. How do you like that, Beato? Now that I know we're having a battle with twisted logic, I won't lose. Cackle, cackle. How foolish do you know? Who do you think I am? I'm the endless witch. The thought you could challenge me endlessly is just absurd. Endless control means that I am able to kill endlessly. When your 19th person folds, you will summon a 20th, and when your 20th person folds, you will summon a 21st. And when your 21st person folds, your 22nd person folds, you will summon a 23rd person, 34th, a blah 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 person. Do you think you had me at your mercy for all eternity? I laugh in infinite regress. The infinite doesn't work against me. Well, then how will you kill my endless? Just try and show me. I have the power to speak the truth in red. Here it comes. When I speak it in red, it will contain absolutely no illusions. If I say it once in red, there are no more than 100 people on this island. You will no longer be permitted to create a 101st person. Cackle, cackle. See, battler. What truth shall I tell in red this time? Or shall I strike for the kill and force you into hopelessness? Cackle, cackle. Come on, show me your usual frightened face. What? Hee hee hee. Why are you laughing? I wonder what kind of creepy look I had on my face as I laughed right then. That red sure is scary. Every time it jumps out, I'm driven to a depth of hopelessness. But I've already realized something. There's no need to be overly afraid of the red. You brought out your trump card again. So, how and for what will Beatrice someone use red this time? Oh, what do you mean by that? Suddenly looking so relaxed. So I was waiting for you to take out that blood red treasure sword of yours. Let's see, you'll flow cream in red this time. You aren't going to say the culprit was one of those 18 people, are you? Be careful, since that means self-destruction for you, right? That'd be the same as throwing away your own witch story yourself. A complete resignation. That's right, the red was always a weapon that worked in Beetle's favor alone. It was the other way around. If she used it the wrong way, it was dangerous enough that she could bring about her own death. If she used it carelessly and said something that ended up denying herself, that'd be exactly the same as self-destructing. Of course, it'd be difficult for me to accept if you told me in red that one of the 18 people was the culprit. No matter who the culprit actually was, they definitely have to deal with some tough emotions. But before that, it would mean your defeat. Saying in the red that culprit is a human is equivalent to your proclamation of resignation. If you want us to finish each other off in a simulation's clash, I say that's a pretty interesting move. However, this particular battle will end in my victory. Beatrice red was her true trump card, but that person speaks in red is definitely the truth, and no amount of proof or counter arguments can change it. Or that. Until now, she used that to really wound me. Each time the tiny foundation supporting my heart gets split in half. However, if she uses it carelessly, then I also glean a little information about the truth. In the last game, I used that to my advantage, especially during the chapel's closed room trick, and almost completely got her boxed in at one point. But she was pretty sly herself. She learned from experience, and since then, she started using discretion and timing of her red. This feeling of tension was almost literally like a battle with real swords. This is a high-level intellectual battle. No, not an intellectual battle. This really is twisted logic, and this is the world's craziest and worst battle of twisted logic. Okay, now it's time to hear your plan. That's right. To use your Himple's Raven, first you'll have to go to confirming how many humans there are other than 18. After that, if you can plug him in red that none of the people in this group are the culprit, that's right, then it'll be fatal wound to me. I'm surprised that you no longer have even an item of fear for the red, which once terrified you so much. You're quite resilient. Try taking it out. The treasure sword of trump card of yours. This time you might be able to make me surrender with a single stroke, right? Cackle, cackle. Interesting. I wouldn't have it any other way. Agitate her, challenge her, drive her into a corner to make her speak in red. Of course, her red always wiping out the only rays of hope. But don't be afraid of that. On this island, overcome with falsehoods and illusions. The only thing I can trust is the information she speaks in her red. It's my only way across the chasm of hell. Just a single tightrope. Her mercilessly blood-red blade is the only way I can survive. This isn't just walking on a tightrope. It's like literally walking on the edge of a blade. Of course, I'm afraid, because my victory condition is the denial of witches. Then to use her contra-positive logic, the culprit must be human. But I didn't want to search for the culprit in the 18, but that's what made me stick to a weak position. Since I had to claim both, it couldn't be a witch, and that couldn't be one of the 18. Last time I was unable to understand that, so that's where she hit me, leaving me tattered and defeated. But that's okay. Let her hit me. Let her attack. No problem. Someone said it once in an old sword fighting movie that a good fortress has one and only one intentional weak point. The enemy would gather there, they would be lured there, and that would be where the actual battle took place. As long as I understood my weak points, and as long as she wanted to attack those weak points, it was if I were luring her into launching an attack there. The gauge and distance between us would carry, retreating step by step, make them move forward. The more she recklessly flourished that red, the more chances I would get to strike back. They don't be afraid of the red, keep her corner so that she'll have no choice but to refute me with the red. No matter how impressively she speaks in red, that's right, the red herself is the same as fresh blood leaking from her wounds. Goddamn flying here, and so annoying. Okay, so what's wrong? First of all, why don't you tell me how many people are on the island total? If you don't, your raven can't cut me up. Humph. How surprising that you could be this desperate and this difficult. One cannot make light of someone putting their life on the line, no matter what the era. It's no surprise your cancel's grandchild. The more cornered you are, the bolder you become. Hee 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 hee. When love glued his throat. It appears to be stalemate. That black tail worked so hard to make his getting cold, milady. Rona, who was supposed to be her ally, roguishly wished her into making her next move. Beato probably thought she managed to smile back and appear confident, but she couldn't hide the sweat building up on her forehead. By now, she had completely lost the confident feeling as she allowed her to turn her nose up at her worthless opponent. Of course, she probably wouldn't be cornered by something like this. She's just being cautious. Until now, I've been inexperienced. I didn't know how to fight, and I wasn't strong enough to be her opponent. However, now that we reached the third game, she's realized that I'm starting to become more skilled, and she's grown more cautious, taking every move over carefully. Surely that's just fine, Beatrice. Try to keep you waiting. Are you happy now? Now it's starting to get interesting, huh? Hee Cackle cackle, battler. This isn't getting us anywhere, then should we get to the heart of the matter and go with the usual? Oh, the usual, you say. Then by all means, if I don't hear you say that, I guess I just won't feel like starting. The first move was mine. Here I go, Beato. Repeat it. On this island, there are only 18 people. And if I hear you say this, I'm right, I'll not just put this specific on the 18. I won't be able to say 90% did it, so all the doors will be closed to me. However, but the culprit definitely isn't one of the 18. There's no way one of those 18 would commit such brutal murders. I'll say it again. Repeat it. On this island, there are only 18 people. I refuse. I won't say why. What would have been the worst red for me if she repeated that? I'd be faced with those two worst risks of accepting the witch, or suspecting one of the 18, like last time, all over again. But Beato hadn't proclaimed my ultimate greatest weakness in red. She refused to repeat it, even though there was no reason for another strike, even though it was a weakness she should have been drooling at. She hadn't sliced me up with the red by using that move, which should have been as good as forking a rook and keen. There was a big sign of my advantage. That's right, the culprit isn't one of the 18. I won't suspect anyone, and since the culprit isn't a witch either, it means that that person exists on the island. And that's you, a person who was grandfather's mistress of 30 years, has been secretly living in a hidden mansion in the forest for a long, long time, the human Beatrice. That's right, you aren't a witch or anything like it. You're just a human who's been living on this island and hiding for several decades. Cackle, cackle, cackle. Did you just call me the endless witch who lived for over 1,000 years a human? Cackle, cackle. For a while, Beatrice continued to laugh unpleasantly and gluttonly, or maybe spiteful. Are you ready? I'll keep going again and repeat it. There are 19 people or more on this island. Beatrice fell out once again. She probably remained extremely cautious as long as confirming the number of humans on this island might give her some large disadvantage, depending on the situation. The red has already become a foothold for my counterattack, so that we know this, it makes it very, very risky for the witch. But if she couldn't repeat this, her Hempel's raven wouldn't be effective to break my devil's proof. She would need to settle the existence of a number of the people outside the 18 in red. That's why she couldn't break the existence of a 90 person unless she used red, but I closed down Beato, giving her no choice but to speak in red. There is really a way to fight in the witch's game. It's okay to refuse. If you can't say in red, that means that there are a total of 18 plus X people on this island. That X is pretty massive piece losing your first move, right? After all, from now on, all the tricks that were possible for the 18 can be explained with the human X who was in that group. This huge piece can open all the rooms you said were closed because they wouldn't have an alibi. It's just like a chess bishop can cut a thin line through an enemy forces as long as there's a slight gap. It could be only effectively used on squares of same color, but it was very good at controlling territory on the board. It looked like Beato also noticed her current plight. She couldn't just let such an important piece go, especially this close to the beginning of the game. If she pulled out her red shirts or sword, it wouldn't be that difficult to save herself from this. But Beato was completely aware that I was expecting it. She was afraid that a careless red truth might end up strangling her own neck. Because I'm in the first place, a witch is something that ought to be denied in red. Believe, don't doubt, witches don't exist. Something like that couldn't exist in this world. They only exist in the valleys between truths. Because the fragile existence curled up in these cracks, frantically trying to protect themselves from the brutal winds of truth. They can only barely exist like a mirage, like by surviving on falsehoods and illusions. In other words, the red witch only witches can use as a reality that might easily deny their very being. The more they brandish their red words, the more they begin to lose bit by bit that crack in truth inside which they can endure. That's why they don't want to use any red words and carelessly lose that cracking tooth which is based on fuzzy information. Or illusions, in other words, just because they understand that they're gradually being cornered. Of course, that bastard will never admit it, because if she did, it'd be the same as admitting that she's something that can't exist in this world, like an imaginary number. They'll be afraid to stay strong. I know that she's the one who really been pierced to the bone. After all, her red treasure sword can't be used without a lot of preparation. But strong, I'll say it again. Repeat it. There are 19 people or more on this island. I refuse. At Nabito's word, she took a single deep breath and quietly announced her refusal. I thought she'd use it, but Bito refused to speak in red, even though it would cost her victory in the opening part of the game. You refused? Which means that from now on, I can create as many fictional exes as they deem as I want. Do as you wish. I have refused to repeat what you've told me. Isn't that enough for now? The reason for my refusal is... No, I won't tell you yet. Anyway, you'll know soon enough. He's still acting tough, I see. Choosing to use red is another way of using it. You called it my red treasured sword, a pleasant metaphor. I will use it too. A treasured sword is the best when it is sheathed. In fact, there are times it can instill even more fear because it's sheathed. That's right. As long as I fight back, I always have to keep in mind whether you might spin anything around with those red words. It's something pretty serious pressure. And there are also times when you make things pretty tough by refusing to repeat after me. There's times I can't tell you if you can't repeat because my guess was right, or if it's just misleading me and letting me flounder about. But if you think of it that way, yeah, it's a treasure sword. So if I'm going to push you off a cliff anyway, I best let you climb a bit higher first, so you've still barely begun. Much is left to come. I'll resign from this challenge. Go ahead and get drunk your fame victory for now. But only for now. Practically speaking, the only part of the game ended with her being a sore loser, even though I couldn't relax my guard at all. But that tension didn't fade in one bit, but until I was greeted by the sound of everyone else's applause. Spectacular battle summer. Perhaps you have stayed this game with an advantaged development. Who knows? I still don't know whether I've taken a piece by my move or whether she's got me into taking it. After all, knowing you, you're probably thinking I'm being led into a trap and clapping. It's just you mocking me openly, right? How could you think that? I'm instantly celebrating your ability, which is enabling you to take one shot at my lady, even though it's only the first round. In any event, my lady is a person who is quick to become arrogant. I believe that a little encouragement such as this can be good medicine every once in a while. This battler of yours sure has some vicious tongue. He does, doesn't he? Sometimes he ticks me off as well. My, how incredibly rude of me. Well then, my lady battler, Summer, how would you like some more black tea? The game has still barely begun. Please allow me to prepare all the tea and snacks needed to adorn this game. I ask that you continue your game without any reservations. I will. Let's move forward now. This when it really starts. Very well. Let's advance the clock. Run out. Black tea, please. Certainly. How about a cookie? I don't need one. Give it to Beelzebub to keep her happy. Remain silent for now. Well, listen to the sound of the demon butler pouring tea. The witch closed her eyes slightly and fell silent. For some time she was deeply lost in thought, but eventually a roguish glint came into her eyes. Very well, why don't I inform you now as to why I refused to speak in red during the first move? What? Bring it on, show me what you've got. Cackle, yes, that piece really wasn't big enough that I'd hate to lose it. It may have been hasty, but allow me to make my move. I won't use the red, but from here on, Rosa will explain on my behalf. Listen. Okay, guys, I'm going to take a break here, and I will see you guys in a few minutes. Okay, guys, I'm back. Of course, I think the same way. Rosa does too, right? Rosa? Sorry. Me too. I think that too. What's wrong, Rosa? Son? You've been really quiet for a while now. Are you feeling sick? From the beginning, Rosa had never been the one cut into the siblings' fights. Even so, she seemed unmotivated and had said almost nothing during this conference. This whole time, she had hung her head and appeared to be thinking of something else. You've been in days for a while now. Do you think you can protect a hindrance like that? You're also the mother of your child. You so you get a stronger hold on yourself. I'm sorry. Did you wake up really early this morning? If you feel sick, you shouldn't overdo it. The bed in our guest rooms have been prepared. How about taking a rest? I will guide you. No, I'm fine, thank you. What is it? Is it something you're worrying about? No, not really. Is that so? It feels like your mind has been elsewhere this whole time. I wonder if it has anything to do with what we've been talking about. At those words, everyone stared at Rosa together, as if in response with her shoulders quivered. Apparently, Carrie's guess had it been wrong. Rosa couldn't deny it either. No, no, she swallowed whatever it was she had been trying to say and went silent again. Of course, other steps also began to realize about her appearance was different from usual. What is it? You've been weird for a while. Did you go think of something? We all just swore to remain united, damn way. Don't hold back. Don't worry about doing blah blah blah. Don't hold back worrying by yourself. We said we'd talk. Rose, tell us. The men pressed her one after the other. Rosa confessed resignedly and nervously. They must be made it seem as though she was confessing to some modest prank which had inadvertently brought about a serious situation. No, this my sister grandfather says this Beatrice. I was wondering if she's still alive. Huh? Is it obvious that she's alive? After all, she was able to send that letter to us. Whether she's in good health or not, a different story, though. The woman in the portrait must be getting up in their age by now. I'd say she's healthy. People who are crafty when they come to staying healthy. Wait. People who are crafty when it comes to money stay healthy no matter how old they get. Her evil plan might have been the best rejuvenating age, and wow, she shouldn't be alive. Huh? What did you say? Beatrice is dead. I killed her. When did you say? What did you say? What do you mean, Rosa? Wait, what? But it wasn't really me who killed her, though I did bring her to a place like that. No, I did kill her after all. I tried to make myself believe it was a dream, but it wasn't really a dream, was it? My speech is a letter from bitches to ghost. Wow. It was so sudden that everyone was lost for words. Rosa kept on talking, unable to stop holding her head as her hair flew all about. Calm yourself, Rosa-san. I have absolutely no clue what's going on. Already dead. What do you mean? I think it makes two things. First, it's literal meeting, and second, it begs it for earlier guess. Which means Rosa has met with Beatrice, right? I never heard Rosa mention anything like this. Rosa, when was it? When could you possibly met Beatrice? Long ago, long ago. We just moved over to the island. I was still young. It wasn't my fault. It's not like I killed her. Wow. Calm down. Nobody's blaming you for anything, alright? First drink some water, okay? Now until you sign the picture, please. Yes. Here you go, Rosa-san. Please calm yourself. Until Rosa was able to calm her ragged breathing, no one was able to speak a word. Guys, I think I'm gonna end the video here. As soon as all this, cool cutscene stuff goes, all the way through. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all later.